Hi guys, welcome back. Okay, today I'm going to be talking about, yeah, you guessed it, another 10 must-have games for the Super Nintendo. Now, the Super Nintendo had loads, absolutely loads of decent games, decent quality games, and these are 10 must-have games that I want to go over with you. You've got to have them in your collection. If you've not got them in your collection, go ahead and give them a try now. So guys, let's have a look and go over 10 games, must-have games for the Super Nintendo or the SNES or the Super NES. Yeah, 10 games for the SNES. We'll call it. My first one is going to be Super R-Type. Now, Super R-Type is such a quality game, very, very close to the arcade. The graphics are pretty, similar. There's an extra level at the beginning of the game, and I tend to find this game it does hold up very well. It's not one of those games you're going to finish in a day. It's not one of them games you're going to finish, in a few days or so. You will finish this eventually. Once you've learnt the patterns of the bosses and the patterns of each of the enemies, it's something that you will get on with, and still pretty cheap today. I mean, you can find probably going for around £30 with instructions, maybe a little bit more. Not too expensive, but definitely worth playing. I highly recommend it. I say that a lot, I know. I definitely recommend this one. Like I say, it's pretty cheap, great game. There's quite a few hours of gameplay you will get in this one. So Super R-Type, definite must for your collection. Next one I am looking at is FZero. Now, I think FZero is probably the most underrated game for the Super Nintendo. I think because it was one of the first games that came out, and there was loads of other driving games afterwards. This is a futuristic driving game. It's not like Mario Kart, it's more of a futuristic driving game, and I think because it was one of the first ones that came out, not many people kind of look at it now and think, oh, is it that good or not? But F-Zero is an absolute classic. It's run on mode 7, so you've got your maps. You can see the actual game itself. This is the only game I actually feel like I got some speed in this one. All the other driving games come across okay, really good, but this one I actually feel like I'm actually getting somewhere. A good sense of speed in this one. Loads of laps to choose from as well. You've got your king, your queen, and each level, and there's several different levels, so quite a bit to unlock, quite a bit to do, a bit challenging as well. And you're not going to finish this overnight, and there's a lot of gameplay in there. It is still pretty cheap as well. It does come on the Super Nintendo Mini, or the SNES Mini, or the Classic, call it, whichever you want. So if you want to go out and buy it on that and play it on that, but definitely a must for your collection. Like I say, it's still pretty cheap. Around about 20, 25 with boxed and instructions as well. So F-Zero, definitely must for your collection. My next one I'm going to go with is an FX Chip 1 Stunt Race FX. This game, I think, once again, I say this a lot, but it's an underrated game. It's not seen for what it really is. I tend to find that this one it goes under the radar. I say that a lot as well. Now, the reason I chose this one is extremely cheap. You can get it for about £10–15 box with instructions. You can get it for like a £5 unbox, probably £3 unbox if you search around. It's one of those games. You've got your truck, you've got your car or your coupe, and you've got your Formula 1 car to choose from. You can unlock a motorbike later on. There's like, what are we talking, 4, 8, 12, 16. I think there's easy, medium, hard and expert levels to choose from, and you unlock more and more. Once you've completed all the levels, then you unlock the motorbike, which you can zoom around, but it's pretty hard to handle. I do find this game is an absolute classic. Now, if you can put up with, people say it's a bit choppy, but if you can put up with the chopping, so I don't think it's that choppy. I think it's still pretty smooth. And I just love to see the graphics. You can, when you're playing it, you think the Super Nintendo did such a good job. It did such a good job of doing this. Yeah, we know most of it's down to the FX chip, but highly recommend this one. Get it for your collection if you haven't already. Give it a try. So my next one, we're going with another FX chip, and I'm being a bit brave on this one, but I'm going to say it out anyway. Doom. Yes, Doom. I actually like Doom. I love playing this game on the Super Nintendo, I still think it's pretty good. I have played all the other Dooms, and I've got all the other Dooms, the Sega Saturn, the Jaguar. You know, I've got all the other classic Dooms as well, and I still like playing this one. Yes, it is a little bit choppy. No, it's not as smooth as the others, but it still holds up well. For me, you've got amazing music while playing it, and you know, once you've been playing it for a while, the choppiness goes away. You can't really see it much, and I think you've got all the levels of. There's a few missing, but the button combination as well. Using the buttons, you've got strafe, not circle strafe, but you've got strafe, and I do find this one to be an absolute classic. I did do a video of it earlier on, some FX chips, but I really do find this one, for me personally, I think it's an underrated, another one, yeah, it's an underrated game. Highly recommend it. It's going for about £30 box with instructions. Have a look around, you might see it there. But it's one of the games that, you know, all the levels are there. You've got Knee Deep in the Dead, Inferno, and they're all there actually on the cartridge. The only downside is you've got to do the first 7 levels, and then you have to start again on the next 7 levels with no weapons. But I don't mind, I don't care. That's the challenge, and I think it did such a good go. Definitely on the Super Nintendo. Highly recommend it. Some people might disagree, but I highly recommend it for your collection. Now, my next one I'm going to go with is probably one of the best, in my opinion. Some people might think differently. One of the best shoot 'em ups for the Super Nintendo, or the SNES, or the, you get it, is UN Squadron. Now, UN Squadron, they did it in the arcade, this arcade conversion, and I find that this one is actually better than the arcade. They've mashed it up a little bit, they've given it a little bit of RPG elements in there. And I think I've done a side-by-side comparison, SNES versus the arcade, in one of my other videos, and this is very close indeed. No, it's not arcade perfect, but you know, you've got 6 ships to choose from, where in the arcade you had 3 characters and each one had their own ship, whereas this one, no matter which character you choose from, you've got about, you know, you end up buying ships, earn more money, buy more ships, buy more power up for it. By the end of it, you've got a huge laser beam, and there's massive bosses to kill, and the music is probably one of the best I've heard for any shoot 'em up on the Super Nintendo, and probably some of the best I've heard for a while, you know. I do really find this one, once again, it goes under the radar, but it's getting a little bit expensive, £40–50 box with instructions, maybe a little bit more. Maybe worth grabbing a copy while you can. Highly recommend it. Yeah, I say that a lot. The next one is, well, I've got to put this one in. Super Mario All-Stars. I think, yeah, it speaks for itself. I can just literally leave that now and go on to the next game. Super Mario All-Stars. What a game. Right, well, straight away, you've got 4 games in one. You've got Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, and Super Mario Lost Levels, or Super Mario 2, it was known in Japan. Now this one is, like I say, it speaks for itself. Yeah, once you played Super Mario Brothers, quality game. Once you played Super Mario Brothers 2, really good, you know, quality game. Then this Super Mario Brothers 3, which is probably one of the best Super Mario Brothers ever. It's one of the greatest adventures you love to play. It's one of them games that will keep you coming back for more. You play it and then you just feel like, oh yeah, I feel like playing that again. Go ahead and play it again. Also, the good news with this, it's got save states in there, or save data in there. So if you get like to level 4 or level 5, you don't have to start from the beginning. You can start from level 4 or level 5. Absolutely fantastic game, quality game, highly recommend it. I do recommend it, yes. You know, if you've not played it, which I think everyone has, but it is getting a little bit expensive. I think you can get it for £20–30 with instructions. Definitely worth going out and giving it a try. I think if anybody has actually even tried. My next one I'm going to go with is, we had in the first slot, we had Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Now this time I'm going to go with Super Street Fighter 2. Once again, absolutely brilliant machine, absolutely brilliant game. They converted it from the arcade. Now it doesn't hold up really close to the arcade. You've got your letterbox gaming, that's over here in the UK as well. You have 50 hertz, unfortunately. But you know what? That doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me at all. I still love to play the game. You got your 4 extra characters in there. You know, DJ Cammy, Fei Long, and T-Hawk. And it is, you know, they've missed a few things out, like, you know, when it's round 1 and fight, you don't get that anymore. But they have put other speech in there. Obviously, limitations to the size of the cartridge. But this one I do recommend. Loads and loads of gameplay, loads of value in there. Unfortunately, it is getting a little bit expensive, like £50–60. So, you know, maybe worth playing it first and seeing what you think to it. But I really do recommend it. I think any Street Fighter on the Super Nintendo is definitely worth having. So my next one, and guess what? Hey, I've chosen an underrated game. This one goes under the radar. It's Illusion of Time, or Illusion of Gaia, outside of Europe or UK. This is the second in the series of the Quintet series, done by Enix. And I think it is such an underrated game. Not many people have it in their top 10 RPG collections. Me, I love this game. I think it is a great adventure. Yeah, you will finish it. It's one of those though, you will come back and want to play it again, probably every 6 months, probably once a year. It's such a good adventure. It does leave a lasting impression. When you've finished it, you're like, yeah, not bad, not bad. And 6 months down the line, you'll have one of the tunes going through your head about this game. And it's like, oh, what was that game? Oh yeah, it was Illusion of Time. I want to play that again now. And that's how it gets you. It's like this brain worm or something. It sticks in there for you. Absolutely legendary game. Absolutely. It's just got, like I say, very underrated. Not many people have it in their top 10 of RPGs. But for me, big bosses, a few characters you can change into later on. It's all set out for you, but what an absolute classic adventure. Highly, highly recommend it. Yes, I recommend all these, obviously. My next one I'm going to go with, and I should have had this one in my first one, is Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Once again, it's another Capcom Classics. They only did this on the Super Nintendo. Yeah, you can get it on Capcom Classic Collections as well, and I think they did it on the Game Boy Advance, but it was made specially for the Super Nintendo, rehashed. It wasn't Ghouls and Ghosts, it wasn't Ghosts and Goblins, it was Super Ghouls and Ghosts. An absolute brilliant version indeed. One of the first games to come out after the Super Nintendo was launched, and I think it still holds up today. Still holds up, very challenging. A lot of people struggle to actually play this and finish it. I'll be honest, I can go through only with a few cheats on when I get towards the end, but I can do the game, and I really do enjoy it as well. And if a game is enjoyable, worth playing, then it's definitely a quality game. But great music, great sound, absolutely unforgettable sound on this one. The music just rings in your head, and big sprites, and all the levels are set out really well, and it really does. I think it pushes the Super Nintendo to its limits. Really, I think it pushes it sometimes to its limits, and I think it does an absolute classic job. Once again, highly recommend it. Now it is getting a little bit expensive though, around about £40–50, so maybe worth giving it a try first. You can play it on the PS2 on the Capcom Classics Collection. It's on there. If you want to give it a try first, and if you've got a PS2, I think that game's going for about £10, so maybe worth trying it out on there. It is on other versions as well, giving it a try. So my last one, and I really wanted to put this in the first one, and I felt bad because I completely forgot about it. It is Super Metroid. Now, Super Metroid is where it all started. Now, I remember when I was younger, I looked at the back, big box, huge box, and I looked on the back of this box and it did not appeal to me at all. And I really thought this game was just, looked a bit rubbish really. I'm thinking, well, that doesn't appeal to me. I'm like, no. And it did take a while for me to actually play it. I think I saw it I went to a market once, and I saw it going for about £20, big box, with big, I was like, oh, you get a big instruction booklet with it, and actually it's a strategy guide kind of thing. And I started to play it, and boy, I was hooked. Not straight away, but I was eventually hooked, and wow, it's like, you get your laser beams, and you start to, when you've got your power up, another part of the map opens up, and then you get another power up, another part of the map opens up. This is where it all started, your Metroidvanias. There are first before this, but this kind of set the standard. And ever since then, people have been crying out for Metroidvanias, and it started the Metroid franchise off really well. Yeah, Metroid 1, 2 were good, but this really knocked it up a notch and made it an absolute classic game. And yeah, they've just released Metroid Dread on the Switch. Does any game hold up to this? Personally, I think it's either this one for me, or it is Metroid Prime. But yeah, absolutely adore Super Metroid. It is an absolute classic game. You can get it on the Nintendo Switch. Sorry, not the Nintendo Switch. You can get it on the SNES Classic. It's on there. They're going for about 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Yeah, they're going up as well. But this one is very expensive. This one's going for, I've seen it between 90, 110, 120, 130. It's going up and up and up. It is worth it though. It is definitely worth it. But only if you're a big collector. If you're like starting out and have never played it, I wouldn't recommend it just yet. Because you're like, you might not like it. But I highly, highly, highly recommend, I can't recommend it enough, Super Metroid. Is a legendary game. Anyway, guys, that is 10 must have, another 10 must have. They're not the definitive, they're not in any particular order. It's just if you're starting out collecting, you've got yourself a Super Nintendo and you want to start thinking about, oh, which game should I get? Look at those games, have a look. Now they are getting a bit more expensive, but definitely worth trying them out. So guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you soon.